Hello and welcome to What's Map for Cities Skylines, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. There are thousands of items on the workshop now, so finding the right one for your next city build is a huge task. So each day, Monday to Saturday, we'll review some using our 5-star rating and the coveted seal of approval. So join me, fellow Skylines explorers, as we venture out to today's new land. Who am I? I'm BonBonB, and you are very, very welcome.
Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to What's Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. BonBon here. How are you doing? Right, well, before we crack on with today's show, I just want to tell you it's exciting things planned for this weekend. Nothing more so than Monday, which isn't the weekend, I know, start the next week, where we'll be talking with our Mesto, one of the workshop's favourite asset creators, about his life and his passions and all that kind of stuff. And that'll be Monday, 6 o'clock on Skylines Talk. And of course, if you missed last week's, it's fresh popcorn. Where have you been? Okay, well, today's map is this glorious one that you see down below with all those mountains. It's Western Valley by Random Morn. I'm going with that. Western Valley, I'm pretty sure is right though. There's your start square. Actually one of the best start squares I've seen for a while in terms of buildability. And there's your resources, and the resources are fine. I mean, fairly stark and a bit of painting going on, but absolutely workable. And let's head over to the workshop to see what you need. On the right hand side, there's no required items, but on the left hand side there are some trees, the Montebello theme and the Fiori LUT. Now, if I'm honest with you, and I think you all know by now that I do have colour vision problems. I mean, they're not horrendous, but they are not quite the average person. And I find this map a little bit on the stark side, I'm afraid. I don't like it. I don't like the colours, okay? It's the map we'll talk about in full. Let's see how it's the bridge here. It just raises up a little bit there. After going in level, I don't know if I would like to have seen that tapered up a little bit to that point, rather than level, then a small rise. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. I like the way the pillars are aligned. Everything good about this bridge. I just think I would just prefer that. Yeah, like there. That comes down to ground, and it's better on this side. The other side, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Tell me if it's just me. I'm sure you look forward to doing that. A few of you do like to grumble, and hey, that's fine. It's all about opinion. You know, what I think of a map, you might disagree. And that's the whole point of this. Gives us a chance to discuss in the comments, and you can put me right when I'm wrong, and I am often wrong. Anyway, you see we've got this this is the main build plane, this valley. This is obviously the highway heading down to the main intersection. You can see ahead and the start square. And most of your city building will be down this corridor here. Now the intersection looks like the vanilla, the generic wishbone. Here we are. And we all know the problems with the wishbone. However, Random Morn has actually stretch things out and taper them along. See, look, smooth slopes. Even this top level here, it's lower, it's flatter, it's tidier. Some time has been spent on this. I mean, maybe this is one grabbed off the workshop. Even the downslopes are still a little bit steep for my liking, but they're not as bad as the vanilla generic ones. And all in all, yeah, much better intersection we'd normally see there. There's your start square, plenty of build space, nothing to moan about there, very happy with that. We head back down to the highway, and like I said, there's not too much to talk about with the highway now. I can just focus on the colours. I don't like their colours, okay? I don't like them. I'm not happy with them. Anyway, yes, so we head off towards the fog, and then what we'll do is we're going to fly back down the valley, having a look at the rail. And like I say, there's nothing wrong with the road. It's very difficult to find any fault with that at all, isn't it, really? So we'll have a look at the rail. And then for newcomers to the show who've never seen it before, we'll have a look, we do an asset review. And then we'll have a look at the theme and LUT. A very brief fly through of the theme and LUT. Now with the rail, we've got a little bit of... Is this trees overhanging the catenaries there? possibly earthing the wires. I think that's okay. It might just be touching, but the first train that goes past that will cut back those branches quite happily. So anyway, yes, we do a theme and luck review where I talk about a couple of factoids as well, which a lot of you seem to enjoy, so I'm going to keep doing those for a while. And then we'll come back and have another look at the map. We've got the same here. How about this tree? Is this, once again, only just touching? So once again, as the train comes past that will cut back that tree happily. So that's okay. That's actually good tree placement work. It's a pleasure to see for a change. And yes, so and then we'll come back and have a look at like the, oh, this is a little bit more so. The branches in there will be getting a little bit tough. I think we can still let that one go. That was borderline, that one. Anyway, yes, so then we'll have a look at the water flow and hang on. That's possibly the worst of the lot, and I've got to mark it down a detailing point for that one. Anyway, this bridge here, this is a nice rail bridge. Nice and fairly level and flat and low and all the things that I'd be looking for. Very, very good work there. Yes, and then once again, if you're new to this show, I do mark each map on 3 different categories. The aesthetics, which is whether a map looks good, whether it looks interesting, whether it's, multiple things, but all opinion, of course. And then also the detailing, which is, well, once again, multiple things as well. And finally, the gameplay potential, which is whether I think that map is actually going to be playable or interesting for you to have a go at, or whether it'll actually work even. Of course, some maps just don't work. But anyway, the first of those things I was telling you about, because there's not too much to talk about with the way of the rail here, because it's all fairly good standard, was the asset review. And on the Saturday, we do a quirky asset, something a little bit different from the norm. So sit down and sit back, because we're going back to Greece, the Temple of Concordia by Vyazu. Now, I like this one. Quirky as it is, this, I think, is usable. Quite often, you get these, like, they're beautiful assets, but you think, how am I going to use that in my city? This is small enough, I think, that you probably could use it. It's quite nice. It's very nicely done. Reminds me of Beard Monkey's work, and there's possibly some usage of the assets from his work in this. I don't know, but it does seem to look that way. I think it's a very neat little asset, very tidily done, and I'm very glad to see it. So that's Temple of Concordia by Vyazu, and that is today's quirky asset of the day. And off to our final visit of the week to Mossy Mountains theme by Mr. Miyagi with Clay Relut in Themington Island. And the factoids. Getting a bit fruity today, guys. A little bit fruity. Oh yes, baby. For several centuries, women, that's those lady people, used to rub crushed strawberries onto their breasts. Hey, in the belief that would make them larger. Ah, women aren't always the brightest, are they? Bless. Bamboo. That's not so much fruity, but it does grow, so we'll have a look at that one. It can grow as much as 1 metre in a day. That's not all bamboos. There are different varieties of bamboos. Some are faster growing than others, and 1 metre a day. I mean, I'm not the tallest man. I could do with like 3 or 4 centimetres I'd be happy with. That's it from today, and back to Western Valley by Random Morn. And this one, the shipping route is, well, once again, nothing wrong with it at all. Just the one, like we had the one highway and the one railway and one shipping route. It does go all the way up the side of the map as well, so you can put your shipping on the docks on the side of the map as well. Water flow, right, we've got 3 rivers basically, and there is flow on each of them. You can just make out there, that's the side river now. This is the main river, we'll go back to that last. This is the second one. There's quite a lot of a steep slope on this river. You can probably make out by the waterfalls going on there. We'll look at that in the detail in a moment. And the main river, which is fairly flat, you can make out that there is actually water movement all the way down here, although it does appear to be a fairly flat build plane. So that's actually very nice work as well. And as I speak, I'm changing my mind on what score I was going to give this map for gameplay. See, sometimes when I go back and have a second look, which I'm doing now, sometimes I feel that my original ratings are wrong. Of course, you've not seen my original ratings yet, but don't worry about that. Don't fret. You can see the water flow is pretty reasonable. Right, so if we head down and have a look at what the river looks like at, well, basically ground level, and it's okay. Like I say, we've got drowned trees. Now, these drowned trees here, I kind of buy into this. I can see that maybe we've got an increased water flow, water from the mountains, and they look like they were on a riverbank and were probably flooded a little bit, as were those. That I can find an argument for them. This one, maybe less so, but we can still possibly accept that he was on a riverbank at one point. Right, this nice little waterfall type thing there, just tiny. They don't have to be giant Niagara or Angel Falls. No, they can be little waterfalls like that, and they look nice and tidy. As you can just see the water coming, actually flowing down the hill. It looks flat, but clearly there is a little bit of terrain, jiggery-pokery there. Now there's a second don't see a sandbanked boat for a long while, and then we see like 3 in 2 weeks. Nice river delta here once again. I think it's the like I say, this ruined colour is what's throwing it for me. I'm struggling with the ruined colour. But anyway, yes, this little river here, this is a nice mountain stream. Very much like this, actually. This is possibly my favourite part of the map. Fortunately, not too much build space around it. I could see possibly sticking a dam across here as well, and maybe utilising and flooding the area a little bit. Be careful if you do that, of course, because I can just see that's becoming a disaster. But that's definitely a possibility for a dam. Then we've got this third river as well. This comes from the heights. We've got a couple of drowned trees there. Not buying into those at all. And this, like I say, this one's another interest. I mean, this is a third very different river. Hang on. Now we've got proper drowned trees. Look at these guys. No, this is an error, I'm afraid. And we're going to see a few more of these as well. But one thing I've got to say is, the one thing I appreciate is variation. And what we've got here are 3 very different rivers on the same map. And it's something that I tried to do with Merrickstowe. Look at these. These are wrong, yeah? Well, so in Merrickstowe, I tried to do 3 very different rivers as well. And we've got the lake at the top, and I'm buying into that as well. Very nicely done. So yeah, I'm appreciating the attempts at variation. The mountains, a little bit simplistic. I mean, they work, they're fine. I think they're basically begging to be detailed by somebody actually within the game. So I think as a starting point, I think they're okay. But for me, I'm not a fan, and they take up an awful large chunk of the map as well, restricting what you can do. So aesthetically, now I'm going to put my hand up and say, look, for me, it is the theme and luck that breaks it for me. But I know it's not that bad. I can see it's not that bad. I'm going to give it 3. You can give it a 4 or a 5 if that's how you're feeling. Detailing wasn't too bad until I saw all those trees, and so for that, once again, I can't give it anything above a 3 stars. For gameplay potential, I was going to give it a 3, but as I walk through the second time round, I think this map definitely has a little bit more. It could do with more connections, there are more build plane issues, but I'm going to give it a 4th star for gameplay potential. Just feeling generous like that. Western Valley by Random Morn, and actually, it's growing on me, that map. Just a little bit, like a fungus. Oh, thanks for watching, commenting, liking and subscribing. Join me tomorrow for a special, and then on Monday for another What map, and obviously for Skylines Talk with our Mesto. And if you want to join in with the party with my BonBonB buddies, I'm over on patreon.com/BonBonB. BonBonB, can't even say my own name. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon. Have a great weekend.